The South Sudan Well Project really originated, I want to say, about 2.5 years ago. And it had its beginnings at Trinity. And a lot of that was because we had Sudanese people in our congregation who had ties to this particular area of South Sudan that we were interested in supporting with wells. And so really in dialogue with them and their just commitment to make life better for their families and their friends who were still in South Sudan, we partnered with them in trying to figure out a way that we could do that. And one of the obvious needs that they identified was the need for clean water. That was just critical to so many things. Without clean water, there were so many health issues for the community. And also just would allow the community to become more self-sufficient because water was such a labor-intensive thing to have to be carrying water, and a lot of times the water that they were getting was unclean water, which caused health problems. So greater accessibility to water than just the river that runs right by the village, and then also water that was clean was really the priorities.
My role, I was a group leader. They had one existing well in the village of 5,000 people. And they live right beside a river, but the river's does not provide clean drinking water. So they had one well that pumps 2 to 3 gallons a minute for 5,000 people. So that obviously was not sufficient. But they had another well there already that was not working, that needed to be produced, and to see if they could get it to produce water. And then there was another project to drill a new well. So my job was to direct the team and to try to get the existing well working and pumping water.
It'll help them in a couple of areas. One, by providing clean water, they will be able to be more healthy. They will eliminate the practices of having to rely on dirty water. Number two, a number of the male villagers were learning how to drill wells along with some of the more skilled people on our team. So they were developing those skills so that they could not only do that themselves someday, but in other parts of South Sudan, and also pass on those skills to other villagers. Several of them were going to be attending well drilling school, and consequently in time and once they get certified, they'll be able to drill wells not only in Old Fangok, but throughout the whole country.
This is an effort by a group of people out of central Iowa and also out of Alaska to bring clean water to the villages in a very, very, very remote area of the new country of South Sudan. The villagers are primarily recently returned from refugee camps that have been established by the United Nations during the war between the North and South. And the villagers have returned as the United Nations has shut down the camps, coming back to locations where there just is not the supply of water. 6 months out of the year, it's a swamp. In fact, it's the largest swamp in the world. And the other 6 months out of the year in the dry season, it's just hard ground, almost like concrete. With that, there's been water only, the swamp water that they have, occasional rainwater, and then getting water right out of the river. This has meant as the refugees have come back to their home villages, they've been plagued with deaths coming from waterborne diseases that they've gotten from drinking the bad water. So with that, in Marshalltown having a strong contingency of Sudanese refugees, we decided to help them.
Really, from the moment we landed, it's like we were a part of that community. And we weren't a group of 7 people from Iowa. We could have been one of their members of their community living there for years. They were just so welcoming of us, and they were appreciative of everything that we were doing. so many times on a daily basis, people would just walk up to us and in what little English they may know, tell us thank you or say that they were appreciative of the work that they were doing. And they understand that one of the key things to help them rebuild their country and their community and their lives is clean water. And so because they realize how important that is, I think is one of the reasons why they were so appreciative, because they really viewed as what we were doing as a gift to them so that they could continue to rebuild and move their country forward as they move past the Civil War.
One of the things that kind of captured my commitment was that if you can provide clean, readily accessible water, you go so far in helping the development of that community. If all of your energy is spent simply in survival, you don't have the time to do that kind of building of the community. You don't let loose the creativity of the people because all they're doing is surviving. But if you can provide adequate and sufficient water, promote the health of the people, you have more kids going to school, getting an education, you have more people involved in being entrepreneurs, in establishing businesses and those sorts of things that you have to have for a community to thrive. But at the heart of everything is water. If you don't have water, you're not going to go very far. Water is kind of opens the door to so many other good things happening.
It was amazing. We landed, and the first day they're very generous people, very hardworking and very thankful. And to come over from America to from the richest country in the world, to which many would say South Sudan is the poorest country in the world. It had been a country for less than a year when we were there. It was truly amazing to see the lack of infrastructure, no roads. We just had a dirt airstrip to get in there, no plumbing. It was very primitive. They lived in tukels. And for me, it was just a real eye-opener in how thankful that I should be and how thankful that the people of America should be what we have. And it's also, I don't take things for granted near as much anymore. And I really have a passion now for the people of South Sudan.
Still very connected to the people over there. And when I left, I thought about them all the time, and I still do. I still think about them, think about the people that I would see every day along the road walking to and from the different well sites, and the people that I photographed, and the people I did meet in the stories I was able to hear. Those relationships were really deepened, and I still hold them very close to my heart.
We are soliciting donations through Trinity Lutheran Church, St. Cecilia's in Ames, and a number of other central Iowa churches. So that is a key way how some people can help, is by donating to the South Sudan Well Mission, and they can do that by sending a check to Trinity Lutheran Church.
It strengthens one spiritually. It gives you a chance to re-examine yourself, and then first and foremost importance, it brings help to some area in the world. And a mission trip could be right here at Marshalltown. It could be in your own backyard. There's need in plenty of places. We just happen to have an interest in our friends in South Sudan.
We're wanting to expand this beyond Trinity. I mean, Trinity will always be connected to this. There's no doubt about it. But we want it to be expanded beyond Trinity, so that it's not just seen as a Trinity ministry or a Lutheran ministry. We want to, I say it this way, we would like to get connected to people of all different kinds of faiths and spiritual perspectives who have a common commitment that providing water is a part of what God calls us to do.